everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Masters of CX. Customer experience is the big market share differentiator today. So in this series, we have global CX practitioners sharing their valuable insights from their CX playbook. Today, we have with us Sinem Yuksel, Chief Experience Officer at TikTak, the Turkey-based company that provides on-demand car sharing services. Sinem has been a CX strategy leader, spending 13 years in telecom giant Turkcell and a little under a decade at Citi before that. Welcome, Sinem. It's so good to have you with us today.
Hi, Shweta. Thank you very much for hosting me today. It's a pleasure for me to be with you and discussing about CX.
Right. So I wanted to start with the premise of, basic customer expectations and your view on that. There's a foundational shift in CX today, and it's primarily driven by heightened expectations. So even if you take, for example, consistency, there's a consistency expectation in the journey. It's there in how you emotionally connect. It's there in your messaging itself. So what do you think are the important value props for customers today? Just the kind of the pillars that drive CX today.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, along with the changing dynamics in the world actually and around us, consumer expectations are also changing very rapidly and not changing, on top of that, evolving. And in what direction? There are like four major changes that I see in the customer behavior. The customers really continue to get much more smarter. Today's customers know what good customer services. Their basis for comparison has changed a lot. They are experiencing every day from different companies, different experiences, and they expect and demand it from other businesses the best experience that they have encountered. So customers are learning from great companies, good companies, and want the same level of perfection in all their interactions with the other brands. So they continue to get smarter, they know better. Customers, second, are becoming more impatient. Time value is increasing. So modern customers want what they want now. And this has, the pandemic period also had a crucial impact on increasing this impatience. They got used to getting their shipments within hours, overnight. So this time concept has become a very crucial behavioral change as well. The third one is the convenience. The busy customers are really willing to pay much more than ever for the convenience that's provided. There has been a study by Heiken states which states that more than 67% of consumers are willing to pay more for a convenient experience, and that number even jumps to 90% if the experience includes delivery in this case. And the fourth one is the personalization, which is getting more and more personal every day. Customers want an experience that's unique for them. They want and expect customers to know their preferences and experiences. So some companies are going further with micro-personalization, which is really good. But I want to mention some other things. This is also has a limit. Personalization has to be very sensitive as well due to other reasons, which we can discuss further. But these are the four major things. Like they get smarter, they get impatient, they expect more convenience, and they want more personalization. So these are the four directions that I foresee in the overall, not like local, but global consumer behavior. And we have to be adapting whatever is changing in this perspective.
Right. And I'm sure to do all of that, you are privy to a lot of different kinds of data sets across, be it third party, be it first party, and basically from different channels, as one now today is accustomed to. So you have interactions coming in from everywhere. You have different channels. So obviously you need to analyze them to optimize your CX actions and execute real-time insights. And so my question is, what have been your challenges and how have you learned from understanding and using data when it comes to building, frictionless omni-channel experiences How have you waded through all those data sets, and what have you learned from doing so?
Yeah, as you mentioned in your introduction of me, I have worked for telco, the biggest telco technology company actually, Turkcell Group in Istanbul, and I've been like responsible for different areas, including customer experience and in transformation programs for customer experience culture and digitalization. And in this company, I have worked with like really big data because of the volumes of customers, and we had 35 million customers in the country. So we had real big data. And now I'm working as a customer experience person in a startup, which is like in the phase of scale up. And the data is like just accumulating.
Yes.
So I've experienced this two major differences in a big mature organization with big data and a developing like baby brand, let me say, with data that is like being generated at the moment. But this is regardless of the size. I think the data utilization and how you tackle the data in the company is first starting with the culture and approach of the company. How do you approach to data? And on top of that, how do you approach your customers? So regardless of the size of the company, regardless of the data you have in hand, I think the most important thing is the customer part, which is like listening to the customers, hearing the customers, understanding your customers. So basic a purpose should be listening, hearing, and understanding your customers. So if this is the guide that takes you through the big data or the small data, whatever it is, it's the knowing your customers. And to know your customers and to use the data, whatever data you have in hand, does not require like big effort. You can start with just you don't need advanced technologies, tools, or you don't have large volumes of data. You just you can start with very like even calls data. You can start with your complaints data to understand what's going on, what the customer is saying, what the problems are there lying to be fixed. And while trying to measure and track trends, new questions arise at the same time. And these new questions force you to ask for more data and to add more data and to correlate more data to come up with some decisioning process. Right. So this is very critical. So in my perspective, as per my experience, the data, the minimum, maximum, whatever, big data, small data, you have to first ensure that the organization and the functions in the company should be willing to understand the customer first, and then building the architecture around it.
Yeah, so it's across the functions. Right. It's across the functions. Just extending the personalization bit that you mentioned micro personalization. Today, what does micro personalization really constitute? And what would be your advice on using personalization strategies effectively, but not very intrusive? But mainly, as I said, what does micro personalization today mean for your customer? Because they are expecting it for sure, but yet you also need to do achieve the balance. So how do you go about that?
Mm-hmm. For my current company, TikTak, where we are like sharing cars, and we have different models, but the basic thing is like to disrupt the ownership concept of the car. So here we need to be personalizing each and every customer's needs for the car. In the life cycle of the customer, when our customers need transportation, like when do they need to move on in the city, in this big city? So if we identify the time zones and the intervals of each customer when they are mainly and majorly renting our cars. This is one of the first, although it's primitive, the first and the main thing that we should be personalizing, because only in that case we can just contact the specific customer and offer some convenient approaches to the car and convenient locations, convenient offers, or some value-adding offers or campaigns to the customer. So this is the initial personalization that we are working on. I think which will add more value in the future to the companies, customers like using or renting our products.
If we had to just quickly just talk about technology as a whole, people can be really overwhelmed, marketers can be really overwhelmed with the kind of tools that are out there, especially there's so much of AI coming in at every junction of customer journey and understanding intent and all of those predictive tools as such. So what's your advice on kind of not being overwhelmed and kind of leveraging that optimally as optimally as you can?
What the customer, I'm just repeating this specific thing because it's very critical. We have to listen to our customers. We have to understand the customers, and then we have to create journeys as per these outcomes. So in these journey designs, then we have to connect the dots with the technology tools, with AI approaches, with some automation features. So all these tools are so sexy and it's like brand new hype concepts. But if this does not fit into your customer journey, then there would be a waste of investment, a waste of time, and it might also irritate the customers, and you can lose the customer contact, customer touch there, human touch there. So the designing, listening to the customers and designing your journeys, and then identifying the required technologies and features that can be included in. And examples for that, for example, in telecom, this is in my previous company, we have been using a lot of these technology tools and enabling our customer experience journeys. This was also used for increasing the experience, to make it better, and also creating some optimization opportunities for the company. If to give an example, I can say the proactive use cases for automated voice response systems. We have been using the integrated voice response system as an alternative channel, which is connected to all the other channels in an omnichannel manner, and creating some proactive contacts or like offers or some touches with the customer in context. It's not like general IVR menu, but we had proactive cases defined for each and every customer that is calling us. So this was one good example where we have increased, created real operational efficiency because we could handle so many things there. Plus, we could make the customers feel more like, okay, the company knows about me and this is very specific to me, what they are saying in the IVR menu. So this was it, one of them. Another one, which is more common, is the marketing offers. Of course, proactive marketing offers supported by some pre-learnings of using artificial intelligence and this predictive methodologies. And also the bots, of course, this is very common as well. The bot dialogues that you're implementing on these historical contacts should be personalized and should be in place. And this is a technology that we have to be focusing on. But again, to some extent, we should not be losing the human contact, and we should not be pushing the bots and AIs and everything onto the customer. So there should be a preference allowed for the customer on how they want to interact with the brand.
Right. And moving on to just extending that rather to retention and loyalty, if we are always catering to the always on customer, always moving customer, how do we foundationally build, rewards and relevance and recognition programs for them to really see the value over a longer period of time? As in, what can be the path to that?
I can approach it from this more like the rational and irrational customer behavior side. Like all of us, each of us, you and me, were like also customers and consumers of your different brands, and we are giving daily decisions, and these decisions are like 85% of the human decisions are, it's known that it's based on and derived by some irrational reasons, not rational ones, and the rational part is only 15%. Knowing that the major part of the decisioning process is derived by the hidden part of the iceberg, let me say. So in this case, bringing in some emotional factors and creating the loyalty around it becomes much more important. So this, in short, we are working with humans for humans, like customers and employees in the context. We need to be understanding these irrational behaviors, what is motivating them, and what are the drivers. And in this case, it is not big data. This is all small data, listening, hearing, understanding, and then empathizing and acting accordingly. And in this approach, we should be combining the rational reasons and the irrational reasons, which brings in the real loyalty. And knowing that the loyalty of the consumers are on a decreasing trend in the last 10 years, and we should be alarmed with this. And by being alarmed, what should we be doing? We should be listening to the customers again and catching the hooks, the emotional hooks that the brand should take seriously and work around it.
Right. That's beautifully said. I mean, it is definitely understanding both irrational and rational reasons for their decisions.
Metric that I will be following from now on.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Good luck. All our best wishes on that. Thank you so much, Sinem, for joining us and sharing these insights. It was really lovely hearing all those insights from you, for sure.
It was nice to chat with you, and thank you very much for the great questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.